जय श्री राधे। श्री वल्लभाधीश की जय। सभी वैष्णवन को जय जय श्री कृष्ण। श्री गोवर्धन नाथ जी की जय। श्री गिरिराज धरण की जय। जय जय श्री राधे। Day 58, the story of Abula Misra, Varta 46, Part 1, continuing from yesterday. There was one religious client of Abula Misra's in Lahore. He had 2 wives but no children. Someone had told that Kshatriya that his wife would bear a son if he listened to the reading of the Harivamsa Puran. He came to Abula Misra and entreated him to read it for him so that his wives might beget children. Abula Misra said that he just did not have time, that he would read it when he did. Bhav Prakash. Abula Misra's reasoning was that he should not read the Purana with the sole purpose of begetting children. If it were the wish of the Lord, then the children would be born anyway. If it is not to be, then why should I force the Lord to have to make so much effort? The Lord will grant the boon of children just to save my face. That is not right. So therefore he said he would do it. He sent the Kshatriya away, but the Lord thought no one should return empty-handed from a Vaishnava. So he told Abula Misra to do the reading and that the Kshatriya's wife would certainly give birth. Part 1 continued. One day Abula Misra popped in to see that Kshatriya. The Kshatriya showed him much respect, touching his feet to his head. He gave him a nice place to sit. Abula Misra told him and his wives to bathe and wear new clothes. They bathed and came there in fresh clothes. Abula Misra recited one verse of the Harivamsa Puran. Idam maya te harikirtana mahat Shri Krishna Mahatmya Amparam Adbhutam. The meaning is as follows. Anyone who listens to the transcendental stories of Sri Krishna is most fortunate. Anyone who hears it will have their wishes fulfilled, for it is most difficult to attain. After this, Abula Misra blessed the elder wife to bear a son. The Kshatriya asked why he had done this since she was barren and said that he should have blessed the younger wife. Abula Misra simply answered that whosoever was to bear a son would bear a son, by his almighty powerful wish alone. Abula Misra got up to leave, but the Kshatriya asked to hear the whole of the Puran. Bulaji replied, "You want to hear the whole of the Purana in order to beget a son. What you wanted has already been given. Now why do you want to hear the whole Purana?" Bhav Prakash. Abula Misra showed that there was really no time to read the whole Puran and the Kshatriya's wish was already granted. Part 1 continued. Abula Misra went home. After some time, the elder wife gave birth to a son. Bhav Prakash. This story gives much praise to the Lord, for it shows that an accomplished Vaishnav can grant devotion or liberation. They can even help you to meet Sri Thakurji directly. These people wanted to have a son, comparatively a very insignificant reward, but in this case a spiritual child was granted who would be a disciple of Sri Gosaiji and therefore purify the whole family. Whatever an accomplished Vaishnava gives, one should know it to be divine, for they will never give a worldly reward. A true son is only that son who truly uplifts his parents and the whole family. Other types of son who do not are comparable to a dog, donkey or other animal. Abula Misra granted them the type of son you can only read about in the scriptures. Thus concludes Varta 46, the story of Abula Misra, a Saraswat Brahmin from the West, who is a recipient of great grace from Sri Acharyaji. He had perfected Manasi Seva, total absorption in the Lord in every act of service. There is therefore no real end to his story. Varta 47. The story of Ramdas, a Mewara Brahmin and Mirabai's priest who lived in Mewar. Bhav Prakash. In the eternal Leela, he is Kandarpa, a Sakhi of Sri Swaminiji's Sakhi Vishaka. She would continuously sing the glories of Sri Swaminiji, and she was very beautiful. One day she was dressing herself up when Sri Swaminiji came there. She was busy with her makeup and did not get up. Vishakaji was enraged that she had not arisen to respect Sri Swaminiji and so cursed her to fall to earth. Here she passed through many births until she was born as Ramdas in a family of Mewari Brahmins. When he was 22, his father took him with him on a pilgrimage to have the sight of Sri Ranchorlalji in Dwarka. Sri Acharyaji was also there at that time, and Ramdas caught sight of him. Ramdas suggested to his father that they both become his disciples. Ramdas's father replied, "We are Brahmins, so is he. Who should become whose disciple? This is my decision, don't ask me again." Ram Das kept quiet, but then secretly went to Sri Acharyaji. He bowed low to him and requested, "Oh Maharaj, I would love to become your disciple and serve you. And if my father were to also become your disciple, then our home could function on a righteous basis, and there would be no strife. Please could you show him something astounding so that he changes his mind? He is full of pride and ignorant." Sri Acharyaji told Ram Das that whilst he was a divine soul, his father had no such inclinations. However, his father would find redemption through his son. "You go and speak to him. Whatever you say will become true, so you can influence him." Ram Das paid his respects and went to his father. He was cooking at that time. Whilst he was cooking, his whole hand got burnt and he was upset. Ram Das suggested to him that he put a little water in his hand and say, "Sri Acharyaji is the Lord himself. If the statement is true, then your hand will be healed, and if not, then not. Let me put some water in your hand in this way. If it gets better, we shall become Sri Acharyaji's disciples." The father agreed to the terms. Ram Das took water in his hand and said, "If Sri Acharyaji is the Lord himself, then my father's hand will be healed." Saying this, he put the water on his father's hand. It was healed immediately. Ram Das said to his father, "Come on then, let's go and take refuge in Sri Acharyaji." His father spoke out, "My son, are you crazy? This was already written in my destiny for my hand to be healed as a result of my pious actions. Let me carry on cooking now." Ram Das became very angry and said, "You have gone back on your word, so now you will become blind in both eyes." He immediately became blind and asked his son, "What have you done?" "Okay, I will become his disciple. I will do whatever you say, but please let my eyes be cured." Ram Das replied that they must first become disciples, then his eyes would be healed. Otherwise he would suffer too much. The father said, "Okay, let's go now before anything else gets in the way." Ram Das led his father to Sri Acharyaji. He bowed low to him. His father said, "Oh Maharaj, I have experienced the power of your presence. I still had doubts, so now I have gone blind. I take shelter in you now. Please take away my suffering." Sri Acharyaji told Ram Das to go and bathe in the Sri Yamunaji river, leaving his father to sit there. After bathing, Ram Das returned to Sri Acharyaji, who initiated him with the Lord's name and then with the Brahma Sambandh. He then gave Ram Das's father the first name initiation. Ram Das took the prasadi water from Sri Acharyaji's feet and rubbed it on his father's eyes, and when he opened them, he was able to see as before. The father prostrated to Sri Acharyaji and asked him what his duty now was, how he could become happy. Sri Acharyaji told him that if he lived according to Ram Das's instructions, then he would always be happy, he would be fulfilled and gain liberation. Ram Das requested Sri Acharyaji to give him some service. Sri Acharyaji gave him some of Sri Thakurji's prasadi clothing and told him to serve them carefully. Ram Das and his father went back to their camp. Ram Das said that he would do the cooking from then on, that his father should help with all the other little tasks. The father agreed to do whatever his son told him to. Ram Das cooked and offered the preparations to the blessed cloth. After feeding his father and the cows, he also had some Mahaprasad. Sri Acharyaji then left for Adel. Ram Das and his father returned to Mewar and stayed at home. Ram Das thereafter ran the whole house. One day Ram Das went to visit Mirabai. He sang a song about Sri Acharyaji in front of her. Sri Thakurji, Mirabai asked him to instead sing about the Lord. Ram Das was very angry and vituperated her, "Wicked and unfortunate woman. Was I singing about your husband? From this day I never want to see your face again." He moved his family from that village. Mirabai tried to stop him, but he would not accept her apology nor her offerings. They all went to live elsewhere. Ram Das was such a strict Vaishnava. He was so attached to his Lord that he never ever saw Mirabai again. Bhav Prakash. This tale teaches that a Vaishnava should not really go to the home of someone from a different path. Even if one goes, they should not discuss the principles of their path, nor sing from their songbook. Otherwise, conflict can occur. In his Chatushloki composition, Sri Gosaiji has written that if one has to live in a different place, then they should always keep their personal beliefs secret. When Ram Das began to sing the song about Sri Acharyaji, Sri Govardhan Nachi thought that if he completed it, he would have revealed too much about the path, so he made Mirabai say what she did. Ram Das realized that he should not have sung in that mode. "By doing this, I have given trouble to my Lord. Now I should not even drink the water of this village. If I do, I will have to see Mirabai's face again. I am Brahmin and I am Mirabai's priest. See, the desire for money is a source of downfall. It always destroys righteousness. Now I and my family will leave this place." Thus concludes Varta 47, the story of Ram Das, Mewari Brahmin, although there is truly no end to his story. Thus completes Varta 47. Jai Shri Radhe. आज के आनंद की जय हो। सभी वैष्णवन को सादर सप्रेम हार्दिक जय श्री कृष्ण। राधे जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे।